Welcome to Voices of the Plaza, the podcast, hosted by Peggy MacArthur. This is where we amplify stories of empowerment, innovation, and success from the heart of the Global Business Plaza. Each week, Peggy introduces us to one of the creative business people, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who are shaping their fields and redefining success. Together, we'll explore unique journeys, highlight remarkable expertise, and uncover the inspiration behind their success.
Welcome to Voices of the Plaza, the podcast. And I am excited today to hang out with Keith. Keith, tell us, I know a lot about you. In fact, we were catching up before we went live because we haven't chatted in a minute. But tell everybody what you do, who you are, where you're located, all of those things. And then we'll dive deep and get some juice on what's really going on.
Okay. Well, I'm coming live from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Keith Troup, and I'm the CEO of two companies. I have a creative marketing agency called Be Absolute. We do websites, AI, the typical stuff that marketing assets people need and create them. And then I own a software company called Taps, which is a no-code mobile platform that anyone can build an app. And you're not in the app store, so you eliminate the high cost of developers and having to have two apps and all the craziness that goes along with keeping those two companies, Apple and Google, happy. But we're also frictionless, so it means you can view these apps on a desktop, a laptop, a mobile phone, or a tablet.
So, you know me, I just hate the algorithm. I hate playing the game. That's why I love things that don't make us have to play the billionaires' games. And that's kind of what you do, right?
Yeah, I kind of look at social media technology platforms, and I view it from a very different worldview. Let's just say that you were cool enough to get 10,000 fans to like and follow you. 3% of them get to see what you actually post most of the time as an average viewership. In my opinion, they're not really your fans. They're Facebook's or whatever the social networks fans, because they make billions of dollars off of those people, and you provide all of the free content to keep them there. So whose fans really are they?
Right. These free platforms aren't really free, are they? Because
No,
we're
they're not.
working for them.
You're just providing them the billionaire dollars that they can rake in every month because of the advertisers that are in front of the eyeballs that you helped bring to the platform.
Yep. And, literally, like you said, 3%, like your content is not getting to the people that it needs to get to. And we're out here hustling and working and doing, I did all the things like everybody, I took all the advice. And if you know me, if you tell me to do something, I will do it. I will follow it to the letter of the law. There was a 4-year span when I posted a TikTok every single day, 7 days a week for 4 years. I did not miss one day. Ask me how many conversions I got from that.
I'd be curious to know, how many conversions did you actually get?
0.
All right. You fall in line with about
0.
90% of everybody else on the planet.
Exactly. And so, there is better ways to do things. And, and so I love talking to you about these kind of things. So I want to know, what are you really, really good at that nobody knows? Like, what's your hidden secret, Keith?
Well, I kind of think I make technology simple for people. I've kind of done that for many, many years. I used to be in the music business, and people would, know how I've learned about how to make computers with music and software, and that kind of ran over into, regular computer IT stuff. People would call me all the time and say, "Hey, Keith, how do I do this?" And so I kind of became the how to help guy for everybody. And I have a golden touch for some reason. When something isn't working and I just kind of walk near the computer, it starts working. So I don't know why.
We hate you.
Yeah, people hate me big time.
It's like, literally, I've been working for hours on this, and you walk in the room and it's going to work for you.
Yeah, it's like a mystical thing I have no explanation for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we hate you and love you because, yeah. Anyway.
It is a love-hate relationship.
so so tell me, what do people get? You have apps, you have, you build websites, all these things. What are things that people really don't get about? Let's just talk about the app taps. What is it that people constantly get wrong? What do they think it is versus what it really is?
Well, a lot of them look at it as, oh, it's just another app. I don't need another one of those. And really, it's a Swiss Army knife. And it has all kinds of things that empower them to do things they can't do anywhere else, not on a website, not on a social platform. It's truly a unique piece of software that gives ownership and control for you to do things to connect with your audience, not only because there's no algorithms or gatekeepers, but because you actually control what they see, when they see it, how they see it, and you're driving your own traffic. Therefore, you have total control over everything that you continue to publish and share and allow them to share from this platform.
So there's one feature that I know about that I love, and also I can't use because my community is global. I don't have a in person. I don't do in person events. It's all global, and I help people doing their in person events. But one of the features on the app is the geo tracking. So, in other words, like, let's say if you go to a place, say you go to a coffee shop, when you get 10 feet from that coffee shop, you can have it like pop up a coupon or a hey, whatever you want it to do. And
Right.
I think that that is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Location aware content is something that used to be very complicated, but we make it really simple. And there's so many uses for it. That was a great example. I call it goodwill marketing, where I could send you to some business owner and send my customers to them. They check in just like they do on Facebook. They tap a button, they check in. It says, oh, you're here. And then you get to see whatever that special offer is. And I've been able to build basically an opportunity to not only be providing something really nice for that particular business owner to get more customers to learn about their business, but I've given my own customers a benefit. And in return, the hope is that that business owner is going to ask what they can do for me, and they can then promote me to their base of users in, let's say, the coffee shop by putting my QR code at the counter, maybe publishing a little article in their newsletter or a social media post. Well, if you think about it, in a nice way, I've hijacked their list. I didn't have to build.
Right.
Everybody's a winner. There's no losers. Didn't cost hardly any money or just a little bit of time and effort on everybody's part. Now, if I did that with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 businesses, then imagine how much my viral growth can increase and everybody wins. There's not a loser ever in those scenarios that I can ever, even imagine, unless you just really do a terrible job of, getting people to show up. And that's just one use of geofencing. Another one is to turn it into a scavenger hunt. So if you build those relationships with 5 or 10 businesses, now you make it into, I call it a poor man's Pokemon Go game, right? And then thirdly, let's say you did have an in-person event or even a virtual event, you could still do some really cool things. When they show up, I use like artists and musicians, for example. Let's say they show up to the venue where you're going to play your concert. They tap, they check in, they put the QR code, scan it, they subscribe, and now you actually make the phone part of the concert. So you're delivering content to the people who actually showed up rather than the people who are still sitting at home. You've rewarded them for essentially being a butt in the seat. Now, if I did that over time, and let's say every concert I had 100 people, now that's people I can talk to every single time I want to speak to them if they've subscribed without having to wonder if they're going to hear from me. And then I use my little backdoor trick and say, hey, I just did a social media post. If you would like, comment, and share it, and I'm going to use my push notification to send them to that post. So I just outsmarted, outplayed, and outwitted the algorithm and fed it what it needs to have to make me rank up higher. So those are things you can't do unless you have my Swiss Army knife software to do it, right?
Yeah. And that's it. If you could get, 100 people to go like, share, and comment in the first, however many minutes that after you post, like, boom, now you're taking advantage of this algorithm that's usually against us, and
Mhm.
getting in front of more eyes than you normally would. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm kind of this creative out of the box thinker about how do I actually get creative enough to not have to play the game, right? This is about making up my own game rather than playing their game.
Because you know me, I hate going by somebody else's rules.
Yeah.
Let's play by Peggy's rules. And I like that. Play by your own rules. So I like it. All right. So tell me, how long have you been doing this? Like, what, I know you've been a musician the majority of your life. What got you into marketing?
One of my piano teachers that bought equipment in the music store I worked at asked me one day if I could build a website. He said, I know you know a lot about music software. This was the late 90s.
Hmm.
So I thought to myself, well, I've learned all this music stuff I didn't know. Why not? So I just said yes. I didn't even give it a thought. And I went to the library and checked out a VHS tape, and I typed whatever this guy told me into the text program on my MacBook. That was the first time I ever coded anything. And I built a website. And that was how I was actually birthed into entrepreneurship, because I never imagined in 100 million years I would be an entrepreneur.
That's funny.
Now, the funny part of that is I took the money and bought Dreamweaver so I would never have to code again. So I started with a no-code platform, and here I am 30 years later, I'm the software owner of a no-code platform. I just think that's quite interesting how that turned out.
That's funny. That's funny. I actually coded my first website. I learned HTML to create a website,
Yeah.
and also decided I was never going to do that again.
Yeah, creatives like to be creative, and coding is boring as crap. And now we got AI doing all of it. So, we've even leaped beyond that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So where do you think that you like you've watched this, you've been in this for 30 years. So where do you think your thinking is concerning marketing that's kind of maybe still people aren't getting it, or people aren't quite ready to hear it yet, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's right here." What is your thing that drives you nuts that people just don't see?
Well, I think one of the biggest things people overlook in marketing, period, are give people value, not pitch. And the more
Mhm.
you give value, the more they will listen. And when they're ready, they'll either do one of two things. They'll either decide, I need what you do, or I want to share what you do because I know someone who needs what you do.
Mhm.
And that to me is the real value of marketing. And then the other part is to build relationships. For 30 years, I have totally ran my business on referral marketing and network marketing, and I've never run an ad in 32 years. And that's rare because most people have to run ads to find clients. But I never bought into that. So I think it's possible. And if you have a software tool like Taps, it's like a referral marketing system on steroids, because someone can share you, and now everything about you has been shared in one simple text message, and they didn't have to regurgitate what you do. They just shared you because you made it easy for them to do that. And I turned that into a game, uh,
Mhm.
so that people can get rewarded for doing that.
I love that. I love that. People love, I think the thing that you said that hit me, and I think that this is something that I too scream from the rooftop, is value. People don't care about another freaking pitch. People don't care when you come in and you've got this 3-minute pitch memorized and packaged. They don't care. People want to know, what can you do to help me? They don't care, how polished you are, how professional you look. They want to know what value is there, because we have spent decades of hearing pitches
Yeah.
and pitches that go nowhere, that are like this, oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it's empty over and over and over. So when you start adding value, people respond to that.
Yeah. I think also people really prefer to do business with somebody they know, like, and trust. The only way to build that is to give value.
Yeah. And I'm always in it for the long game because I feel like if I can give value, exactly what you said, they'll do one of two things. Either they will come or they will tell someone else.
Yeah.
And if and they might not just tell. You may give a ton of value to someone and they may never give you a dollar, but they may send 12 people to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because they know, like, and trust that you actually do what you say.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's so important. That's so important. 100 million years ago, when I opened my photography studio in San Diego, I was I'd moved from Arizona to San Diego, and I ran an ad in Craigslist. This is how long ago it was. It was safe to run ads on Craigslist. And it was like a free, 11 by 14. And this lady came in. My goal was, you get the freebie, but you're going to want all the other, things as well. Um, she didn't have any, she didn't upsell at all. She didn't buy any extras, but she sent her sister in and she sent her cousin in. And when I tell you that one client built my entire business, she brought in over 12 clients in 1 year, paying clients, and all of them brought in, at least one or two. And it was funny because I've never done anything in my life where I can track it back to one person except for this one thing. And it was like, my studio in San Diego was literally built off of this one free 11 by 14.
That's cool.
And those are things that no matter what you're doing, giving that value, getting out there and doing it, and taking a risk on an app, taking a risk on, these things, believing in stuff. And I think that's awesome. I'm always excited about the crazy things that you're pop me. You'll check this out, Peggy. And I'm like, look at that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing is, although our software doesn't have AI built into it, I don't think it even really needs it because of what it does. It serves the purpose it's designed. But I can take a chat bot and stick it on there, and now I've given you a digital AI assistant that can talk to the people that have your app and answer questions, book appointments, do all kinds of things. And it's so simple. And yet it never asks for a raise. It doesn't have to show up late for work. It doesn't get drunk. I mean, all of the things that you have to deal with real employees.
Doesn't have a bad day and yell at your customer. Well,
That's right. And it never says, I'm tired, I want to go home. I mean, any of those things. And so I look at, how do we make AI help us be more productive? And so imagine you're handing your business card out, which is now your app, and it has an assistant that can answer all the questions that they would ever ask in 90 plus languages. That's huge because I live in a city that's very diverse culturally. You do too. And I don't speak those languages, but that helps me lower the barrier of entry so I could still have an opportunity to convert those people to possible customers and never be able to speak their language personally.
that's insane when you think about it. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is your word of wisdom to people? Give our listeners a tip, a Keith tip for success in marketing.
Okay. So this is a life tip as well as a business tip. And I've lived it for all my life, and I just think it's super simple, but it's a nugget that I think anybody can apply to their life or their business. And that is, every conversation is a seed planted for a potential harvest. And unless you're planting seeds, you can't expect to get a harvest. So words and what we say are the seeds that plant those opportunities. So I never meet a stranger.
So I want to, yes, and that. I'm going to tell people over 10 years ago, there was some Facebook challenge, and it was to compliment a stranger, one stranger every single day. Now, I am very, I'm very much that person anyway. So I was like, that's easy. So 30 days, you had to meet at least one stranger and give them a genuine compliment. So this did a couple of things for me. First, I realized that I didn't go outside my home as much as I thought I did, because you have to be in an environment where you can see a stranger every single day for this to happen. But then it was just like, oh my gosh, I love that, nail polish color. Wow, I love that pendant, or, whatever it is. And a couple of things would happen. One, people would look at me like I was completely insane and keep walking. That happens sometimes. The other thing that happened is people would act like no one had said anything nice to them for 3 years. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And like, just like sponge that up. And so that is something that I don't consciously make sure I compliment a stranger every single day, but I do always make sure that when I see someone and the opportunity is there, that I say hi.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many times, well, you probably do because you're the same person. Um, how many times that has led to a conversation that has led to either a client or me an introduction to somebody else that they know. And all because it's like, oh, wow, that's a really pretty nail color.
Yeah. Well,
Something that,
I have, a business that lets me work from anywhere. And so I work a lot at a local coffee shop. And I sit at this table and new people come and sit every day. And it's an opportunity for me to plant that seed and say hi and ask them what they do and compliment them and do exactly what you're talking about. And some of them became customers, some of them didn't. But it was an opportunity to engage with someone and share a little bit of my day with their day, and many times become a relationship. And we see each other passing in the same coffee shop, say hello, how's it going? And to me, that's just where I think people oftentimes think it's all about business, and it's really about, hey, I just want to get to know you as a person. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What's your favorite ice cream? Whatever it might be, that we have to take the time to really get to know people, because I think we get so entangled in social media that's not social, that we forget to just be people.
I like that. We forget to just be people. And unfortunately, I think that you're right. And, places like the Global Business Plaza, where it is a community where people actually communicate with each other. But social media, I mean, is it social? Like we post a picture of our dog, or we post a picture of our kid, or we put up a polished, like, look at me type of a thing. And that's not really social. And
Yeah. Well, it's easy to hide behind that. If someone walks in and they're having a bad day, I can kind of see that, right? And, try to brighten their day. It's hard to do on social.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Keith, I love always talking to you. Is there anything you want to share as we are closing this out?
Well, I would like to tell people that you have a fresh start every day. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow ain't here. So make the most of the day you've been given and look for opportunities. They're everywhere, but if you're not looking for them, you won't find them.
So very true. Always be at the right place at the right time, ready to step into those opportunities.
Yep.
I love it. Keith, thank you so much. Now, I think everybody should go check out TAPS and check out all the things that you do. And they can find you at globalbusinessplaza.com. And they can go down to the bottom in the directory, or they can find the TAPS app and click on it, and it's going to take them over to your page. And make sure you go chat with Keith, have a meeting with him, let him show you around his world and what he's doing. Keith, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on. And also people can just go check out the website. It's TAPS, TAPPS.TO.
.to, okay? TAPPS.to.
That's it.
Awesome. We'll see you next week. And Keith, thank you again.
Thanks, Peggy. I appreciate the opportunity.
Bye-bye.